Welcome to another episode of The Case Files of Eddie James, the exciting new show within a show that gives you, the listener, both a thrilling mystery and a peek into the world behind the scenes. Brought to you by Bizzo Soap, the versatile soap that can't be beat for dishes, gets your white sparkling white, keeps the colors of the rest of your laundry at their brand new brilliance, and yet is gentle enough for washing your hands and face. One soap for so many uses, which saves the savvy housewife time and money. Bizzo Soap, for the Bizzo busy woman. It's just a few minutes before the next recording session for The Case Files of Eddie James. The group aren't rehearsing their lines, though. They're watching Clint perform another of his seemingly endless talents.
Show everyone your card, Millie. I'll turn around while you do.
Okay, done.
Oh, put it back in the deck. Anywhere's fine. Russell, you have a way with words. Say the most magical word you can think of.
Ah, yes. Now, let me see. Yes. Alakafab kasumba laha.
Wow, that's quite the word.
Now, thank you, Barney. I just made it up. Improvising, if you will.
Don't worry, he won't.
What?
I'm not going to try to repeat that word. It's been said, and that's good enough. Oh, the deck is starting to shake. It's shaking out a card. The 10 of hearts. Is this your card, Millie?
It sure is. Wow, Clint, that was amazing.
It sure was. I know that trick, and I couldn't see how you did it.
Have you done magic professionally, Clint?
I have, but not as a sole profession. It was part of a vaudeville act I did.
Vaudeville? Really? I wouldn't have guessed you were old enough to have done vaudeville.
I wasn't really. I started when I was 5. My parents were show people. I learned my first tap dance routine when I was 4, and my first magic trick at 5. I didn't like the dancing much, but I love the magic. I still practice, and I'll do a nightclub show every now and again.
Oh, wow. Oh, let me know the next time you do a show. I'd love to see it.
Yeah, me too. I'd love to see it.
You know, being a child star is something you and Lorraine have in common, Clint.
Oh?
I was a little younger than you when I started. Tina the tap dancing toddler at your service. I didn't last long as Tina, but I still know how to tap.
You sure can. You know, I bet we all have a hidden talent or two like that. Something maybe we learned when we were younger and never really gave up.
Yeah, I bet you're right. Yeah, what's yours, Phil?
Clarinet. I was first clarinet in high school, and I played with a couple of bands in college, and when I first came to Los Angeles, I jammed with some guys I know every now and again. How about you?
Woodworking. I make furniture, boxes, puzzles, stuff like that. I usually make a bunch of toys during the year and then give them to charity drives at Christmas time. Come to think of it, I made this pencil box.
Oh, Barney, that's not a pencil box. That's a work of art. Look at all the beautiful carving and the ebony inlay.
Thanks, Millie. It's just a hobby. What talent are you hiding?
Oh, gosh, nothing, I don't think.
You've got to be kidding. Nothing but making your own clothes.
Singing like a bird.
Dancing like Ginger Rogers. I remember that night we all went to the Roosevelt for the Radio Performers Ball.
Yes, and not to mention Miss Napa Valley, 1947. I personally thought you deserved to win Miss California that year, after what I saw as a judge for Miss Napa Valley.
You were one of the judges? How did I not know that?
Yeah, well, you must have been preoccupied with the contest.
Wow, I never really give a thought to the things I do. I just like to do them, Aw, thanks for being so complimentary, everyone. I'm flattered.
You're welcome. So, Russell, what's your offstage passion?
Oh, well, I have a few, but I will say that the one I love the most is cooking. Yes, I am never happier than when I am padding around in the kitchen, concocting a new entree, or putting the finishing touches on a gâteau Saint-Honoré.
Gâteau what?
Saint-Honoré. Think a mountain of cream puffs, only even fancier.
That sounds delicious.
It is a delicacy without rival. perhaps I'll, make one for all of you.
Oh, that would be really nice. John, you haven't said anything this whole time. Do you have a hidden talent?
Oh, sorry. I've been giving the script a last going over. I had a nagging feeling something wasn't right with it. I'm all sorted now. As for talent, well, I don't know if it's actually a talent per se, but I do enjoy painting, mostly landscapes.
You know, I propose a party. One where we showcase all of our hidden talents. I would be happy to host such an endeavor and cook for you all. Yes? Yes?
Hey, that's not a bad idea.
It's a great idea. Know what else is? Getting this show rolling.
And that's our cue, folks. So CJ, what's your hidden talent?
Me? I don't have one.
Oh, come on. You must have something you like to do when you're not here.
Yeah, I do. Sleep. Fine. I'm only telling you this because I like you. I can't leave this room, hear me?
I'll answer for all of us. Yes. We promise we won't spill your secret.
Better not, because I'll know. I do a couple of impersonations.
Oh, wow. You sure do. You sounded just like Barney.
Yeah, that was impressive and kind of creepy at the same time.
But, possibly useful in a pinch. Do you do any other voices?
Well, there's this one, but it's not as good. Greetings and salutations, good people.
Well, that was me. Good gracious. It was as if I was listening to a recording of myself.
Gee, CJ, I don't know if I'd call it a talent or a choice. Neither do I, which is why I don't tell anybody about it. Yeah, I have more, and no, I'm not doing them. We need to get to recording right now, or there won't be any time for retakes if we need them.
Hint received. Let's do it, people.
The city is a lonely place. I know, I walk its streets. I'm Eddie James. Being a lonely man in that lonely city gives me a chance to see things other people miss. And that makes me a good detective. Walk with me. See for yourself. A lot of people call Los Angeles the entertainment capital of the world. Now, when they say that, they mean movies. Now, we have those, sure, but they're more of a kind of a livelihood than just a way to pass time. People around here seem to like amusement parks. We have Beverly Park and the Alligator Farm, Corrigan Ranch way up in the San Fernando Valley, and Ocean Park Pier in Santa Monica, to name a few. They're all okay, I guess, but I prefer a good old-fashioned county fair, or even a carnival. The sideshows are hokey, but they're fun, and the food is great. Grilled corn and funnel cake and deep-fried everything. One carnival in particular, though, wasn't all fun and games. By the time my part in it was over, it was a mix of a house of horrors and a crime wave. It started out on a peculiar foot, too. I didn't happen on the case while riding a merry-go-round. It came to me. Susie was out running errands that afternoon, so I had to deal with it, or I should say, them, on my own. Before they showed up, I was trying to drum up business for my pal, Lieutenant Wayne Hadley, Hollywood Precinct.
Sorry, I don't have a thing for you. I don't have enough to keep my own men busy. I don't get it. For weeks, we're running around like chickens with their heads cut off, trying to keep up with all of the cases. I was putting in double shifts. Then all of a sudden, nothing.
The weather's so nice, everyone's out on the beach working on their suntans. You should be happy it's so quiet, Wayne.
Part of me is. Part of me is waiting for the other shoe to drop and wondering just how big and messy that shoe is going to be. The LAPD is never dormant for long.
Don't think about it. It'll just drive you crazy. Oh.
Uh-oh. Something happened?
Either some prospective clients just walked in the door, or Ringling Brothers is about to set up the big top in my office.
Huh?
I'll explain everything just as soon as I know what everything is. Can I help you?
Gosh, I sure hope so, Mr. James. We don't know who else to ask.
I hope so too.
Me too.
Actually, it's not us you need to help. We're just helping you help.
Huh?
Well, maybe I'd better talk for all of us. I'm Felix Bishop, also known as Polka Dot the Clown. The lovely lady next to me is Ivor Thorne, otherwise known as Svetlana the Snake Woman. Next to her is Big Jake Simpson, crew chief, and at the end there is Sylvia Peterson, known as Madame Mostro, the fortune teller.
We have two things in common. We all work for Happy Day Entertainment, the carnival that just set up in the empty lot over by the Pantages Theater.
And we're all worried about Orville.
Guys, let me tell him. We all work for Happy Day. I am the manager as well as one of the clowns. It's a good carnival with good people. We're a family and we look out for each other. There's this guy Orville. He hasn't been with us long, but we all really like him already. He always has a kind word or a helping hand for all of us. We know the guy has a record, but that doesn't bother us. A lot of us have done time.
I was in the slammer for 10 years. Guess why?
Oh, I don't know. Littering?
Littering. Oh, this guy's hilarious. Nope. Guy in the bar said he could break me in half. I said he couldn't. I broke him in half. Then I broke all his friends in half.
Okay. I believe that, and I won't make the same mistake. I have no doubt you could rip me into little pieces. All of my muscles put together couldn't make one of your biceps.
Nah, you ain't got a thing to worry about. I don't do that no more. Besides, you're okay. I can tell.
Jake, can I finish the story now, please? Merci, thank you. For the first month, everything was fine. Orville was really friendly, but he kind of kept to himself. Then he started sitting with us at meals.
He lets me practice my tarot readings on him.
He holds Bella for me so I can eat.
Bella is her albino boa constrictor. Anyway, things were going great. Then yesterday we got here. Almost as soon as we pull into the lot, this couple show up. And the woman is dressed to the nines, a fur coat and everything. She's not pretty though. Her face is too hard. The man, well, he gave me the willies.
Oh, he gave us all the willies.
Orville looked really upset when he saw them, so I walked up to them and told them we weren't open yet and asked them to leave. They didn't argue, they just walked away without saying a word. I asked Orville if I made a mistake asking them to leave. Were they friends of his? He said no, he didn't know them, that I didn't make a mistake asking them to leave. He clammed up tight after that though, and ever since he's kept to himself.
He won't even come to dinner.
Yeah, he won't hold Bella anymore.
I miss my little buddy. He won't even stop by my trailer to say hi.
All right, so what is exactly that you want me to do?
Find out who those two people are and why they're upsetting Orville. He won't let us help him, eh? And we couldn't go to the cops even if a crime had been committed. The law never takes carnies seriously.
We were thinking, hoping, Orville would respect a private dick enough to spill the beans. Whoa, Nellie, who are you?
I'm not sure how to answer that, Mr. Huge and Menacing. Eddie?
Susie, this is Big Jake and Big Jake's friends. Felix, Iva, and Sylvia. Everyone, this is my assistant, Susie Beck. They want to hire us to help a friend of theirs, Susie.
Uh-huh. And do we want to help them?
I'm considering it. You don't have a case right now, and I like carnivals.
Carnivals? Your carnies?
We sure are, and proud of it.
That's not a problem, is it?
Ah, heck no. The only cases we don't take are ones from lawbreakers or ones that would force us to break the law. We like being the good guys.
Hey, I like her. I really like her.
So, you'll take the case, Mr. James?
Well, I want to say yes, but here's the catch. If your friend doesn't want to be helped, there's not going to be a lot we can do.
But
You know what? I'll tell you what. We'll go over to the carnival and scope out the situation. If I think we can help, I'll take the case, okay?
Sounds great.
Sounds very, very good.
All right, good. Well, go on back to the carnival. We'll be over in a little while.
Oh, thanks, Mr. James and Miss Beck. It is Miss, isn't it? I hope.
Oh, sorry to dash your dreams, big guy, but I have a boyfriend.
Oh.
Cut it out, Big Jake. Thank you. Merci, both of you. We'll see you soon.
Eddie?
Hey, we always say we prefer the odd cases, right? Well, can't get much odder than this one. Let me fill you in, and we'll go over. I think Susie may not have been quite as open to taking this case as she claimed to be, but she didn't say anything. I figured it was a 50-50 shot we'd actually be able to take the case. If this Orville didn't want to talk about what was upsetting him to his friends, the chances he'd want to confess to strangers were pretty small. I thought about calling Wayne and asking him to do a little research on an ex-con named Orville, but I decided not to. Would have been a waste of time if we couldn't have taken the case, and the lieutenant hates to waste time even when he has tons of it, so we headed over to the carnival instead.
Wow, they don't waste any time, do they? Everything's up already. They'll be ready to open tonight with time to spare.
They have to be able to set up and tear down fast.
You are looking for Polkadot the Clown. You will find him in the little building marked Manager.
Hi, Sylvia. Thanks.
Here I am, Madame Mostro, mistress of past, present, and future. I know all. I'm getting a vision about you right now, Edward Harcourt James. Come and see me after you've spoken with Orville. I have some interesting information for you. Information about a woman you know. A woman whose name begins with the letter H. She prefers to wear black satin dresses.
Letter H. Black satin dresses, huh? How could she know?
How did she know your middle name? It's not on your card or any business documents.
I don't know, and I don't want to think about it. Let's go find Felix. The manager's building is right over there.
Ah, hello there. Glad you could make it so fast. Orville takes care of the petting zoo animals. He should be over there now. I just saw him putting goats in the pen. The petting zoo is at the far end of the sideshow row.
Ah, thanks. Hey, Sylvia Peterson. Is she a real fortune teller?
That's a very good question. She always seems to know things she shouldn't. I stay away from her because I don't want to know what she knows.
Oh, good idea. I think I'll use it. Anything else we should know?
Not that I can think of. If anyone asks what you are doing here, tell them you are friends of mine, and I gave you permission to walk around.
Yeah, got it. Let's go, Susie.
This is a good carnival, Eddie. Look at everyone checking cables and rigging. They care about safety. And they all seem happy to be doing what they're doing.
Definitely good signs. There's the petting zoo. The man with the pail must be Orville.
You said they called him an old man, but I don't think he's 60 yet. Prison must have been hard on him.
I think you're right. Probably also worried, so we're going to have to ease into questioning him. Let me take the lead. If he starts to get agitated, use your soothing skills. You do have some, yeah?
Somewhere. I'll dig him out.
What are you two doing in here? The carnival ain't open yet. You need to leave.
We're friends of Felix's. He invited us to wander around.
Oh. Well, there's not much to see down here yet. You should go watch the ride crew. They should be doing test runs any time now.
Thanks, but we're more interested in you, Orville.
Me? Why? And how do you know my name?
Felix told us. Felix told us a lot about you, Orville. He's worried about you. He asked us to help you.
There's nothing to worry about, which means there's nothing to help with. You go tell Felix to stop meddling in my affairs.
Are you sure there's nothing we can do?
Positive. If there's anything wrong, and I ain't saying there is, because there ain't, I can handle it myself.
If that's how you want it, okay. Just know that Felix isn't the only one who's worried. So are Iva and Sylvia.
Big Jake, too. He said that he misses his little buddy. If they haven't done anything wrong, they should know that.
They haven't done a thing wrong. You tell them that. And tell them that things will be back to normal soon. I'm not mad at any of them, even for trying to meddle. That's all I'm going to say. Go on now, get.
Okay. Oh, he's definitely afraid of something.
He's afraid of two things. That something and asking for help. He wanted to let us help. I could see it in his eyes.
Yeah, I saw that too. Maybe we need to try again in a little while. Hey, those two walking this way, they're not carnies.
Oh, you're right. They couldn't be carnies, not dressed like that. They look like they're going to a cocktail party.
It must be the two Felix told me about. They headed straight for Orville. Quick, let's get on the other side of the petting zoo. There's a tent we can hide behind. Maybe we'll be able to hear the conversation.
What are you doing back here? I told you to leave me alone.
We can't leave you alone, Orville. Not until you tell us where you put it.
I already told you I don't have it. I never did have it. I have no idea where it could be.
Oh, now, honey, you're telling a little white lie. I know you had it. I saw you with it myself.
Don't you honey me, Minnie, you two-timer. You didn't see me with it because I never had it. Stake me to an anthill. I'll say the same thing.
But if you don't know where it is, who does? None of us know. We'd have it already. And the cops never found it. So that gets us back to you.
I don't know nothing. Nobody told me a thing. I didn't take a thing. I didn't hide a thing. Now get out of here before I call the security guard over. I mean it. Go!
Let's go, Luther. We're not going to get anything from him now.
Fine. But we're not giving up, Orville. We know you know. And we want it. We've waited long enough. Come up with it soon. Or else.
They're gone. Let's go back to Orville and tell him what we saw.
Hang on a second.
Why?
I recognize those two. The man is Luther Higgins. He's a career bank robber. Never the gang leader, but always ready to do the dirty work. The woman is Minnie Ackroyd.
Ackroyd? Like Martin Ackroyd, one of the worst bank robbers in California history?
She's his widow.
Then Orville must have been in a gang with them.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I think we can get him to talk if we tell him what we know, but we're gonna have to go about it gently.
Or he'll think we're in it with those two. Got it.
You're really getting the hang of the detective business. And me. You follow my train of thought really well now, sometimes better than I can.
Thanks, boss. I've learned a lot from you. Not enough to go out on my own, of course. I know I still have a way to go for that. But I think I could handle another case solo.
No, you could do a lot more than that. Let's go talk to Orville.
You two again? Go away, please. I don't have time for shenanigans.
You don't have time to be threatened by a notorious bank robber either, yet that's what just happened.
Say, just who are you two? If you're working with them...
I'd say we're working against them. We're on your side, Orville.
To answer your question, I'm Eddie James, and this is my assistant, Susie Beck.
Eddie James? I've heard of you. You're a private dick.
That's me.
So someone hired you to spy on me? Well, it won't work. I can tell you...
No, somebody's hired us to help you. You may not believe it, but you have friends, ones who care a lot about you and are very worried about you.
I know who Luther Higgins and Minnie Ackroyd are, Orville. From what I overheard, I can figure out what you used to be.
No, I'm not. I don't...
Calm down. I believe what you told them is the truth. Well, part of it anyway. Why don't you tell us the rest of it? We're here to help you, remember? And as a client, you have confidentiality rights.
Okay. But you really can't tell anyone else. They'd never look at me the same, no matter what. 5 years ago, I was down on my luck. The cannery I worked for up north closed down with no notice. I had worked there for 20 years. It was the only thing I knew. I tried to get a job at other canneries, but they all said I was too old. The little money I had dried up quick. I was about to get kicked out of the rooming house where I lived because I couldn't pay the rent. Then one day this man comes up to me in the street and asks if I can drive. Sure, I tell him. How'd you like a job, he asks. His boss is looking for a driver to take him to appointments and such. He's willing to pay me $5 a day. Of course I said yes. How could I not? And for a while, everything's great. Then, one day, the boss says he needs to stop at the bank and that I should wait for him in the alley. So I let him and the boys out and then drive around to the alley. Next thing I know, there are a bunch of gunshots and everyone is running out to the car. Get out of here, the boss tells me. There's been a bank robbery and we only barely escaped with our lives. He has me take him home, but we're not there long. 5 minutes later, everyone, including the boss's wife, gets back in the car. One of them saps me. I wake up in the car, but the car's not at the house. It's by some shack in the middle of nowhere, and it's surrounded by cops. Turns out I've been working for a bunch of bank robbers. They're the ones who robbed the bank. The boss is dead in the back seat. As I'm the only one around, they pin his murder on me. They can't find any proof that I did it, so I get convicted on a manslaughter charge and get a 10-year sentence that was reduced to 4 for good behavior. I just got out a couple of months ago and joined this carnival. I swear I don't have the money. Never had it. I have no idea where it is.
But they think you do, and they're threatening to kill you if you don't cough it up. Why is Higgins the one doing the threatening?
Oh, Luther was one of the boss's guys. Looks like he's doing Minnie's dirty work now. No matter how dirty that work gets, though, it won't make a difference. I don't have the money, and I don't know where it is.
It's okay, Orville. We believe you.
How do I get them to believe me? I don't think they ever will. Maybe I should just leave the carnival and go into hiding.
No, don't do that. That would only convince them that you're lying to them, and they'd go after you twice as hard. You can't hide from people like that. And you have protection here.
Not for much longer. They'll find out I'm an ex-con, and nobody around here will trust me anymore.
They already know, Orville. They don't care. They just care about you.
They know?
They do. They told us about it when they hired us. Felix and Sylvia and Big Jake and Iva.
Well, don't that beat all? I don't know what to say.
Say you'll let us help you.
Yeah, sure, okay. How can I say no?
You can't. Not if you want to get rid of those two for once and for all. We're going to go tell Felix you said okay, and we'll start working on a plan to turn the tables on Mr. Higgins and Mrs. Ackroyd. If anything happens, anything at all, you call us. Here's my card, and let the others help. They really want to.
I don't know why, but okay. Thanks, Mr. James. You too, Miss Beck.
It's Eddie and Susie, Orville. Poor guy. I buy his story completely. How about you?
That he didn't know he was working for bank robbers and that he doesn't know where the money is, yes. The rest of it, I don't know. It's possible he saw something between the time they sapped him and the police got there, but he's too scared to say anything. We need to get details of that arrest. We also need to find out what Luther's been up to lately. But first, Felix.
Oh, that was fast. Does that mean you struck out?
No, quite the opposite. We got the whole story, which I'll keep private for now. Suffice to say, he needs protection.
Oh, I wish I could give it to him. But we don't have anyone to spare here. And we can't afford to hire anyone. Hey, I have an idea. How about you two do it? You could work undercover. We have plenty of costumes to loan you.
Carnival costumes? Me? I don't know.
A uniform, then. You can run one of the games. I'll put you on the strength tester. We call it the High Striker. It's right by the petting zoo. Susie, how good are you at belly dancing? We had one, but she just quit.
I've never done it, so I have no idea. I'm sure I could figure it out, though.
I bet you could. Okay, I'll get those costumes for you. Give me a half hour or so.
We'll go back to the office while we wait. I need to make a phone call.
That's fine. Bon, I should be here in the office. If not, someone will know where to find me.
Should be interesting. Starting right now, keep your eyes and ears wide open. You need to be prepared for anything. I said to be prepared more for me than for Susie. We were heading into territory that was unknown to me, and that made me edgy. It wasn't just the case. Sylvia's comment about a woman with the initial H in a black satin dress was unnerving. There had been a woman like that in my life. It was only for a short but very intense period and a very long time ago. I hadn't thought about her for a while, on purpose. I didn't want to think about her then. I did want to get as much information as I could about Luther Higgins and Minnie Ackroyd, so when we got back to the office, I called Wayne. He said he'd get back to me soon. What he didn't tell me was how he was going to get back to me. Uh-oh. You found something so disturbing you had to come tell me in person.
No, I was so bored I decided to take a walk. Where's Susie?
Well, I'm not sure. I think she said something about a wig. So, did you find anything?
I did. Everybody has their eye on Luther Higgins. The locals, the FBI, even Scotland Yard. They all know he's behind a stack of bank heists, but nobody's been able to catch him red-handed. Minnie Ackroyd's been laying low here in L.A. since the death of her husband, Benny. There was a theory at the time that she was behind his murder, but it's another thing that can't be proved. And for what it's worth, I don't think Orville Bennet did it either. I looked into him too, and took a peek at the files that were shared with us. He had no priors, not even a parking ticket. His former employers said he was the nicest, most reliable, hardest-working employee they had. A guy like that doesn't turn to crime overnight. A guy like that gets the wool pulled over his eyes, then becomes the sacrificial lamb.
Yeah, I don't think he has the missing loot either. It wasn't even a hint that he was lying to me when I talked to him earlier.
So why did he take the fall?
He doesn't seem to be much of a fighter. Or he might have been afraid of the consequences if he pointed fingers.
Yeah, I could see either one of those. So what can you do?
For now, Susie and I are going to go undercover as carnies, so we can keep an eye on him. Luther and Minnie will be back, I'm sure of it.
I'll dig deeper into the case files, see if I can find any clues as to where the money is.
Thanks, Wayne. Now all I have to do is figure out if the fortune teller is playing with me or she really knows something about Helen.
Helen?
Shh, later.
Hi, Wayne. What are you doing here?
Bringing some background info for your case.
Oh, thanks. I stopped by the carnival while I was out and picked up our costumes, Eddie. Yours is just coveralls and a newsboy's cap. Mine is,
Missing? That's all they gave you to wear.
That's it. I'm a belly dancer.
Emphasis on belly. I'm not sure that's legal to wear in public. I may have to raid this carnival.
I have a better idea. Why don't you just go to the carnival and enjoy it? Same way you enjoyed the premiere show for that Follies movie. I don't recall you arresting a single one of those performers.
Yeah, well, they weren't exploiting anyone I knew personally.
I'm not being exploited, Wayne. I'm doing a job.
A job we need to go start working. You should come down, Wayne. With any luck, you'll be able to write off anything you do as a work expense.
Good point. I should bring Feely with me just in case. But what would he do when he saw his girlfriend prancing around dressed like that?
That is a very good question. Maybe I should give him fair warning. Walk you back to the station, Lieutenant?
Sure.
You should try on those coveralls while I'm gone, Eddie. You wouldn't want them to be too tight, especially if you have to bend over all night.
Very funny. But maybe not such a bad idea.
Oh, good. You're alone.
And why is that good?
Because I need to talk to you confidentially. I'll come right to it. I saw you talking to Orville at the carnival. I asked around and found out who you are. I bet anything you saw me too. Rumor has it you're no slouch. That means I know who you are and you know who I am.
Oh, I see. Formal introductions hereby waived. Now what?
You've got to convince Orville to give up the dough. Luther doesn't have a lot of patience to begin with, and he's getting really worked up. I wouldn't want Orville to get hurt.
Orville doesn't have the money. That's what he told me, and I believe him. You didn't really find out who I am. If you had, you'd known that cops are my friends, not my enemies, and I would never do anything to change that. If for some reason Orville did have loot from a bank heist, I'd talk him into giving it to the police. Not you.
Oh, you don't understand, Mr. James. His life is at stake. So is mine. Yours will be too if Luther finds out who you are. Luther has to have that money, and soon, or we'll all pay. What's more important, the cash or our lives?
Neither. The truth is what's important. I'm going to find out what the truth is.
But, fine. You've been warned, Mr. James. Whatever happens, it won't be my fault.
I just passed Minnie Ackroyd on the stairs. What was she doing here?
Issuing a warning. To whom and for what, I'm not entirely sure, despite what she said. Let's get back to the carnival. I don't think we should leave Orville alone a minute longer.
Hey, you guys look great. If Felix hadn't told us what was going on, I would have just thought you were gazoonies.
Gazoonies?
Carney talk for new employees. There are a few words we use that you should know. Eddie, you're a jointee. That's someone that works the games. Alakazam. That's what you say to another carny when you see him, like, hello. A joint is a concession stand. Donaker is a restroom. If a local asks you if we have any, point them to the end of the midway. If you hear anyone claim an agent, that's a game operator, or a clerk K-cut, that's stiff, them, or played them for a chump, you come and find me. We don't do that stuff here, and I'll 86 any carny who tries it, or any cowboy, troublemaker, who tries to pull a fast one.
Thanks, Big Jake. Good to know. Hey, if I'm a jointee, what's Susie?
Oh, she's knockout. You're a bigger knockout with your real hair, but that black wig goes real nice with that costume. Folks are going to pay more attention to you than the ballyhoo. Oh, that's what we call the outside talker spiel. Oh, and an outside talker is the guy who tries to get people to come into the sideshows.
I'll take that as a compliment. We'd better get to our places. I wouldn't want to get in trouble with a showman.
Nice. Felix ain't the owner, though. He's just a manager. The owner's a big company in San Francisco. Felix could never raise his voice to you. Heck, I don't think he could raise his voice to anyone. Sometimes he's too nice. Come on, let's go to the midway.
I wish I could say that Luther and Minnie showed up right after we started, caused a ruckus during which they admitted everything, then got carted off to the pokey. But I can't. They didn't show up at all. Regular patrons did, though. They came in droves. In 4 hours, I must have had 100 would-be heroes try to ring the bell with a mallet. About 10 of them succeeded. Susie wowed everyone with her bare midriff dancing. Well, everyone but Sergeant Feely. I don't think he was very happy about other men ogling his girlfriend when he and Wayne stopped by and he saw what was going on. Practically dragged her away the instant she was off. I elected to stick around for a while after closing, partially just in case, and partially because I wanted to find Madame Mastro.
Eddie, you sure had me fooled. I kept wondering all night who the new guy doing the high striker was. I was actually worried you might be one of Luther's men.
Nah, just the opposite. Susie was keeping an eye on you, too. She was the belly dancer.
You don't say. She was real popular with the customers. Well, I sure feel protected now.
Yeah, we'll be sticking around until we're sure you're safe.
Well, you won't have to do that at night. Big Jake and I talked, and he insisted that I bunk with him for now. Nobody would dare mess with Big Jake.
If that's the case, then I'll just do a walk around and then head for home.
Make that a walk around and a visit to me, Eddie James. I believe we have some unfinished business?
I believe you're right, Madame Mastro.
Sylvia, please. It's after hours. Besides, I would like us to be friends.
Okay, Sylvia. Care to join me on a walk?
I would like that very much.
I'll go find Big Jake now. Maybe he needs help shutting down.
You've been thinking about what I said all night.
I've been wondering about your reason for saying it.
The pain in your heart called to me. I couldn't ignore it. You should let that pain out. It's eating you alive.
Yeah.
You need to let love back in. I know trust is hard for you, especially after what happened, but it's time to leave the past behind. You're afraid, but you're ready.
Nice to meet you, too. How about we talk about you for a change?
Oh, there's not much to say. I'm a San Francisco girl. I wanted to join the circus from the time I was 4. I ran away from home and joined one as a trapeze artist. I learned very quickly, though, that the circus was not for me. It has a very dark side that I wanted no part of. Most carnivals do too, to be honest, and the first 2 I worked for were some of the darkest. Then I met Malcolm Jones, the owner of Happy Day. He was the first man I met who had nothing but goodness. He hired me to be his fortune teller, and that was 10 years ago.
He can't be all good. Nobody is.
He runs a clean show, insists on us all being above board. That's all I care about.
So you're trying to tell me you have real mind-reading powers?
Not exactly. I have a high sensitivity to other people's feelings. I can read expressions and the truth they're hiding. I read your truth, Eddie James.
My expression couldn't have shown you a black satin dress. Or the letter H.
No, it couldn't. And it didn't. Most of the time, I prompt my customers into revealing what they're holding in. They want me to. It's good for them to say it out loud. With you, I had a little time, so I did what any fortune teller attracted to their subject would do. I went to the newspaper's morgue and did a little research. But all I did was add a name and a story to what I had felt when I walked into your office this morning.
Clever. Your job isn't so different than mine when I think about it. You were, attracted to me.
Very. Besides the sorrow, I saw great strength, intelligence, passion. There aren't many men like you in the world. Can you blame me for wanting such a rarity?
Well, would you blame me if the feeling was mutual? There is something very attractive about a woman who cares enough to research you.
Fire! Back in the trailers! Iva, call the fire department! Big Jake, help me bring water!
So much for that tender moment. Let's go.
Oh, Orville! Your trailer's burned to the ground. Oh, God. That's just awful. Everything you owned was in there.
It's not the end of the world. I didn't really have anything anyway.
Gosh, it's a darn good thing you were helping Big Jake. You could have been in there. Oh, God. Losing you would have been just awful.
It would have?
Of course. You're a swell guy. And a great friend. And you like my snakes.
This was no accident, Felix.
I had a feeling. How do you know for sure, though?
I found this in the rubble.
It's a $100 bill.
I'll lay odds that it's from the bank heist Orville was part of. A serial number check will prove that. I'll also lay odds that it was planted there to try to force Orville to tell where the rest is hidden. Nobody would leave cash out in the open, especially not Orville. The fire was a show of force.
But if it was planted there, that means that whoever planted it has the money.
Bingo. Harassing Orville was just a cover to keep the rest of the gang from knowing where the money really is. The money, and who really killed Benny Ackroyd, that is.
Eddie, I just got a call about a fire here. Is everyone all right? What happened?
Everyone is okay, and what happened is the unintentional revealing of not only the person who has the loot, but the fact that they're a murderer as well.
A murderer? Whose?
Benny Ackroyd's murderer. And now that I know who, I bet I know where the cash from his last heist is, too. Feel like being a hero?
You know I do.
Well, I have a plan. One that will catch that thief and killer. All I need is Minnie Ackroyd's address and half of the Hollywood precinct's men.
I can't believe your plan worked so well, Minnie. You said that once he saw the fire, he confessed to having the money, and he'd bring it to you right away.
That's what he said.
I can't wait to tell the rest of the gang. They've been waiting 5 years for this. 300,000 smackers. Even a fifth of that is a lot of dough.
Don't call them yet, Luther. Let's make sure he actually shows up, and he actually has it.
Yeah, okay. Then you and me will head for Mexico, right? We can get married down there and live like a king and a queen.
Sure thing, Luther.
Hey, you don't sound so crazy about the idea anymore. You are coming with me, aren't you? No. Don't answer that. I'll answer it for you, because if you don't, you're not going anywhere. Get my drift?
Don't you dare threaten me, Luther. If it wasn't for me, you wouldn't have had a chance to get the money back. And you'd be in jail right now for murdering my husband.
Me? I didn't kill him. I'd never do that to the boss. Oh, but you would. You hated him. That's why you insisted on coming that day. I always figured that little guy really did off him. But it was you. It had to be you. You're the one who stayed with Benny when the rest of us ran. You cut up to us. You said Orville had plugged the boss and scampered with the loot. You lied, didn't you?
Shut up! Shut up! So I killed him. He was going to kill me. I was in his way, he said. Holding him down, he said. He didn't want the noose that was me around his neck anymore. He was going to give me $5 grand from the job. That was it. And then he was going to push me out for good. $5 grand for putting up with him all those years? Oh, I deserved more than that. A lot more. So I got all of it.
All of it? What do you mean, all of it? Orville has the loot. You said so.
I meant all of Benny's earthly goods. Here he comes. I can see him heading up the walk. We'll grab the money, kill him, and go. Orville, you're right on time. You're not Orville.
I'm not Wilbur either. LAPD. Put your hands up, Mrs. Ackroyd. You're under arrest.
Me? For what? Orville's the one you want. He has the money. You just let him get away.
He doesn't have the money. He never did. You do. Not only did we hear everything you just told Luther, but your fingerprints are all over what's left of Orville's trailer.
Guess you're not so smart after all. Huh, Minnie.
Oh no. You're not going to get me that easy, coppers. I've got a gun, and a big one. And I know how to use it.
I know how to use mine, too, and mine's in your back. Drop it!
You. How did you get in here?
She came in through the back door. I let her in. I ain't letting you get away with the boss's murder. Some things just ain't right. And that's one of them.
We're gonna have to arrest you too, Higgins.
That's what I get for believing dames and being greedy. Now let's go.
So, Minnie had the money the whole time.
She did, and she'd been spending it. There was actually only about 100,000 left. Apparently the gang had been pressuring her to find it, thinking that Benny either told her where it was, or Orville did. Luther found out Orville was out and had joined the carnival and insisted on grilling him about it.
Luther confessed to the robbery. He also confessed that Orville had nothing to do with it. The judge down here is going to ask the San Francisco District Attorney to exonerate you, Orville.
Oh, c'est bon. That's great. Hooray for Orville, and hooray for you two. This case would never have been solved without you.
Now that you're really a free man, Orville, will you stay with the carnival?
You bet. This is my home. And this is my family. I wouldn't trade them for anything.
Bella and I are really glad to hear that, Orville.
So glad this is over.
Oh, Jake.
It's great.
We're all glad you're staying, Orville.
You staying with the carnival too, Sylvia?
Yes. I don't want to now, but I have to. It's my calling. And you have to answer your call. You'd never be happy traveling with us, not even for me. The flame we kindled last night would be blown out before it ever had a chance to grow.
Yeah, you're right. As much as I hate to admit it.
No, I'll be back. Someday. But you won't need me. By the time I return, your heart will be claimed by another.
Now, I thought you couldn't really predict the future.
Maybe I can't. Maybe I can. Maybe I just see it in your eyes.
Thank you for listening to another episode of The Case Files of Eddie James, brought to you by Bizzo Soap, the versatile soap that can't be beat for dishes, gets your white laundry sparkling white, keeps the colors of the rest of your laundry at their brand new brilliance, and yet is gentle enough for washing your hands and face. One soap for so many uses, which saves the savvy housewife time and money. Bizzo Soap for the Bizzo busy woman. Tonight's cast included Lauren Baumbauer, Val Kuhns, Max Levine, Mike Luce, Richard Tatum, Raishel Wasserman, and Keith Wright. Story by Val Kuhns. Sound patterns by Val Kuhns. This has been a Q Footsteps production. And all that entails. Nilamsha. Yes, that was the name. I was Nilamsha.
Nilamsha the snake.
Nilamsha.
Be sticking around until we're sure.
Welcome to the club.